life is full of these different chapters, and sometimes they're marked by bold changes in our lives where we can't ignore the fact that we're entering a new stage of our life. It might be a new relationship, a new job, or moving town, or whatever. These things, you think, wow, yeah, this is really a new time for me. I'm entering a different chapter of my life. Yet, even without these bold moments, these constant changes that we go through and evolve as characters, and we're learning, it's very easy for time just to pass, and then you look back and think, wow, so much has changed since this period of time. I didn't realise how much was shifting and moving within my life, within myself, that has led me to this point where I can now recognise that was a whole different chapter. It's not always these bold things that come into our lives or bold changes that mark these chapters. They're forever ongoing, right? We're ever changing, and life's always developing through the present moment that we're in. So I was talking to someone yesterday, and Leonardo da Vinci came up, and how he's known for all these many different things. Of course, a genius in so much. So he's a special character, but we've all got these passions and loves that we go off and explore, and there's a lot of power in mastering and staying with one thing. But if he had done that, then he would be known for one thing and not many. But we can learn from Da Vinci that life puts you in different situations and drags you in different places, that we can encourage just to explore different things without sticking to one thing. I've spent the last 10 years enjoying one particular thing and absolutely loved it, and sure, I could keep, and that's never going to leave me. I can always return to it and enjoy putting my time there, and there's mastery to be had there and keep working on that craft. But things change, we grow as people, and we're here on earth with all these possibilities to run with and explore, and we should feel like we can, sort of like it can get drilled into us from a young age to pick one thing, especially going through the school system and everything else, like pick your thing, what career you're going to go down. And you make that decision at a young age where you don't even really know yourself then, And we've got these programs where we feel like, no, I'm this and I do this and I've followed this path, I'm going to keep going with it, without giving ourselves the freedom to really dive off and find other things and follow the chapter that we're currently in, because it might be completely different. A lot has changed, and that's what I'm highlighting here, all these small changes that we go through, these small subtle things that you don't even really notice the growth you've had or the changes that have come about in your life, to recognise that until you actually stop and recognise, wow, I'm in a whole different situation here, I'm in a whole different place, I've got different interests, I've learned so much, I've grown so much, and certain passions and things we put our time on might have run their course for now. You can pause them and feel like you've got the freedom to run in a different direction and completely start from scratch in some way, but that's fine. Like, why wouldn't you? If you've got these passions, if you've got these different interests, and especially if you've dived into one particular thing or one particular field, it's good to keep things fresh and feel the freedom of being able to explore other things, even though you've put all this work and time into a certain thing. And the conversation with Da Vinci tied into this. I thought, yeah, he's known for many different things, and he would have explored all these different things in different chapters of his life. And as I said, yeah, a genius. So his work is on a level that maybe he could achieve so much in these different fields in short periods of time, or be able to do many things at once and whatever else. I'm not too sure, but it just goes to show that, yeah, it is power in picking one thing and mastering it, or being on a path of trying to master it. But there's nothing wrong with exploring, and who knows what you're going to find, who knows what you're going to birth by being in that mindset of being able to explore these different areas of ourselves and embrace each chapter, rather than feeling like we've picked our timeline and we're going to stay on it. At the end of the day, we shouldn't be a slave to anything or anyone in this lifetime. We don't need to be a slave to anything or anyone, and that comes down to your passions and your projects as well, and there's times to explore other things, and you can always return to it or maintain it, keep it going, but feel that freedom to keep going, to keep exploring, and not feel stuck in a certain place or a certain thing, because the truth is you're not. It's forever changing. Each day, each moment's evolving, and leads us to these small actions that ultimately add up to big change. And we should recognise the situations that we're currently in, the positives of them, the things that we maybe find difficult or don't like, but ultimately the positives, the good things in there that we've got. And sure, in the future we might have more riches, we might have more love, we might be healthier, we might be on these a better place through growth and learning and working on ourselves. But you'll be leaving behind some things that also had some love in them, some fun in them, and some good memories, and that you can reminisce on, and they're in the now moment as well, you know. So I encourage us to actually look around and think, yeah, even if I am in a position where I want change, I want to shift things up, and I need to grow in a lot of areas, I need to bring in a lot more and strive for a lot more, and you're determined to create a better life for yourself. It's also good to recognise the good that's currently there, you know, because it can be the small things, jokes with friends that maybe you won't have around in the future, or a pet that you've currently got, that when you do strive and achieve the things that your next goals are, that maybe won't be around then, you know. All these like small things that make up our days. We get focused on goals and mastering certain things and growing in certain areas without recognizing what we're going to be leaving behind once we achieve those things. And also we've got the freedom to explore these passions of ours, these loves of ours, these interests, and they might run their course in a short period of time. They might stay with us for our whole life, and there's amazing beauty in that as well, you know. But I think we can learn from Da Vinci that he mastered or made such big moves in so many different areas of his life and in his art and in his inventions, that if he had just mastered one, he wouldn't have explored so much, and we wouldn't have learned so much by what he spent his time doing. And we should feel that freedom and not be a slave to the goals and paths we set out to ourselves, or the expectations that we set ourselves, you know. It comes down to following the flow of life, right? And when you're in the flow of life, of recognizing I can follow this flow and be in flow and be open to where that's going to take me. And that might shift up what you're doing in career, or who you're spending your time with, or what you go off and learn. You know, we can be so fixed on certain things that we spend our life not tapping into other areas of our interests and beings, that if we stayed in the flow a bit more and achieved a bit more flow, we would feel the freedom to explore them more and put time there, you know. This flow of life that creates these different chapters and moves us into different stages of our lives allow us to explore more and pick up things along the way and run with them, walk with them, and explore them. And this is the flow of life that we can listen to and see and be with, be aware of, at least. Just be aware of it, that day to day these small things are changing within ourselves, within our surroundings, that lead us to a new place before we know it, and it can be hard to predict. And we can be looking one way, taking ourselves that way, and not seeing everything else that's going on, or looking this way, striving for this thing without recognizing what we've currently got and the good things that we've currently got that might leave us when we get to that point we're striving for. And the flow of life's beautiful, and we can follow it and see what comes up in this, and it's inevitable. We can't ignore it anyway. It's going to happen, if you like it or not. You can't cling on to anything. Life's changing, life's evolving, we're changing. And so in that, don't be a slave to the things that you're currently doing. They might have run their course. It might be a creative project or a job, and there's no wrong in completely starting again, being the student of life and picking up a new passion, a new project, and learning more other things that you've never put time into, and seeing where that takes you. We should feel we've got the freedom to do this in a day and age where we're encouraged to have our thing and master it, and put time into one thing and gain mastery within that. But it's not all about mastery. We're mastering life and our characters and learning along the way, and that requires us to feel the freedom to dive into all these different aspects of our characters and life, and there's love to be had everywhere, not just in one craft or passion. We've got many passions, and explore them all, as many as you can, and without the pressure of feeling like they've got to last a certain period of time, because nothing lasts forever anyway.